In this video, I'm going to show you how to use jQuery Timepicker to set a Timepicker on your WeWeb project. So you can see over here in my WeWeb project, I've got this text input. If I click it, I have this drop down, so it's starting at 9 a.m. going all the way down to 7:30 p.m. I can select one of these, and in my console you can see that it's stored that time, but over here in this variable as well, we're updating it there. And so we've got like this start time, and then we have this end time. And I'm going to show you how to set this up. So the first thing you have to do is just pull in like a text input. So I've got a standard text input. I just have this labeled as date picker with this ID, and then this is date picker 2. So that's the main thing you have to set up here is the ID, because then we're going to be using jQuery to grab that and set this up. And so I found this jQuery time picker that's really easy to set up. We're just loading in. First, we're loading in jQuery on our site, so that way we can use the library. Then we are loading in this file here. This is the CSS, and then we're also loading in this Timepicker JavaScript. So we're loading in these scripts, and the way that we're doing that is I'm using ScriptTag here. And so you can see the first thing that I'm doing is adding this jQuery library, essentially. So that what this is doing is it's adding it to the head in the document, so that way I can use jQuery in the project to manipulate the DOM, essentially. So we've got that first. We're loading in that initial script, and then we are loading in this CSS style sheet, and then we're loading in this time picker. And then from here, I'm just setting up some custom styles, which you could see, like I could change. I'll change this one right now just so you can see. So FFF. Let's see. Like if we click in here, that's a white background. But if I come in and say 0, 0, 0, so now we're going to try that one. Refresh. And you can see now the background is black, and so that's the CSS. Let's change that back. So now it's white again. Again, you can change just like the styling on it. And then down here, what we're doing is initializing we have more configuration. So like every 5 minutes, we set the min time to 9 a.m. and then the max times 7:30 p.m. We disable certain ranges. The dynamic, so this is false. It just has something to do with the scroll bar. And then finally down here, we're initializing. We're initializing that initial date picker, and you'll see this is grabbing my ID. So this $sign just means like jQuery, the date picker. And if we click back over in here, you can see date picker, right? So, and then they're sharing this config, that share config, setting the default time, so 9 a.m., the start time is 9 a.m., so it shouldn't scroll past 9 a.m. And then if we click on it, we are updating our WeWeb variable. That's what this is here. So we're using the wwLib, variable, update value. And you can see this is like 164 BC. If I come back over, I have in my data this start time variable set up. If I copy this ID, let's just paste it right there. You can see it's 164 BC. So 164 BC. So we're using that ID, the variable ID. It's tempting to want to just use that name, but that wouldn't work. You would have to actually copy this ID. And to access that, you're going to have to go to development and make sure that this says it doesn't say show dev, because now if I try to go back into my variables here, let's see, because I toggled that, I don't have access to it. So again, in development, make sure that you show dev information. So now I have access to these IDs. Okay. So over in my script tag, again, this up, so that takes care of the first one. Then we're initializing that second date picker. So date picker 2 is right here, right? Date picker 2. Giving it its settings. So this time the default is 7:30, and the min time again is 9 a.m. And then disabling certain ranges, so it makes scrolling a little bit easier. You don't have to scroll through the full thing. And again, here's that wwLib variable. This ID is coming from this end time. And then we're setting this initial value in the input. So 9 a.m., 7:30 p.m. That's what you see here when the page loads. And then we've got a try catch, and then just this like check essentially to see if it's there, just like debugging. And so once I have my script tag, I'm just copying WeWeb snippet. So copy WeWeb snippet, and then coming back over here, and then going to trigger page workflow, and then setting up custom JavaScript, and then here is this code, which, sorry that I'm displaying it this way, it's like hard to see it, but just know that that's what this is. And then if you don't have access to the script tag, if you're not a member of State Change, you can still use this tool that is a free community tool. It's WeWeb Embed.StateChange.ai. Thank you, Ray. And you can just paste your scripts in here. So for example, we would come here, and then I would like click on this, paste it in there, and then I'm converting it to this WeWeb action code. This is the same code that I just exported here. But I'm just showing you another example in case you don't have state change. And this is available to you. Anybody can use this. And so we take this code, we come back over into our project. So this page, trigger page workflows. I'm going to add a workflow, and then I'm setting up a custom JavaScript, and then pasting that in there. And from there, we then have access to it in the editor. That's why you can see if I refresh my page, because I made a change here where it's being hosted, our background should be different. Yes, so now it's white again because we changed it to that FFF. And so this is taking input field, but a text input. It's the same field here, but it has this like jQuery is adding, it's rendering this on the page. I recommend using this script tag if you can, but if you can also host this on GitHub. I just wanted to show you really quickly how this works.